One question that I get asked a lot is regarding delegation. How do you delegate? What are better ways of delegating? And so I'm going to share with you a tool that I've used in the past. It's been a really good tool. It's been an effective tool. I don't need to use it every time, but when I do need to use it, I use it, and it has really solved a lot of the issues that I used to have when it came to delegating. And so the way I would use this tool is print it out, sit down with my team in advance, and explain it to them. Explain these are the 5 levels of delegation. This is what I mean by level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. Please do not assume that because you've been here the longest that you cannot get level 1 delegation. And please do not assume that because you've been here for a few weeks or a few months that you can't get level 5 delegation. It all depends. It has nothing to do with where you sit in the organization. And this is really useful because I might find myself in a situation where my boss asked me for something and I need to ask you to get me that something, to help me with that item, that action, that deliverable. But I don't have a whole lot of time to explain to you. If I've sat down with you in advance, if I invested time in you, if I poured into you, for example, by using this tool, I can just say, hey, Rich, you have level 3 delegation on this. Just let me know when you're done. And that's how this can save time, creates a common language. So level 1 delegation basically means do exactly what I'm asking you to do. Don't deviate, don't add, don't subtract. Just do exactly what I'm asking you to do. So an example of that might be that I need a copy of last year's sales for a particular product. Now you might wonder, well, what do you mean by last year? Do you want it broken down by quarter? Do you want it broken down by fiscal week? When you say last year, do you mean including holidays, all holidays, U.S. holidays, every other holiday? Did you mean from January 1 midnight through December 31st, 11:59 p.m., or did you mean something else? So that might be something that you also clarify up front so we don't have to get into that level of detail. We can just say, I need report XYZ for last year's sale. So that would help in that situation. But again, level 1 is basically I need you to bring something back or report something back to me. Do not deviate from what I'm asking for. I've already made a decision. I know what the options are. Level 2 delegation basically is I want you to go ahead and research a topic and report back to me. So once you do your research, we're going to have a discussion around it, but I'm going to make the decision. I'm going to make the final decision. And then I'm going to tell you what to do next. So it doesn't mean that you're not capable. It doesn't mean that I don't value your opinion. But it means in this situation, in the context of whatever it is that we're talking about, maybe I need to make the decision. I'm responsible. I'm going to be accountable. So I'm going to make the decision. And so again, because we've had this conversation in advance, you're not going to be offended. You're not going to feel that I don't trust you. You're not going to feel that I don't value you. You will understand how this thing works. So that's helps in that situation. Then we find ourselves in level 3 delegation. Level 3 means that I want you to do your due diligence. I want you to research a topic. You're going to research it. You're going to do an outline, and you're going to give me the options. What are the benefits? What are the risks? What are the cons? What are the pros? What's the disadvantage? What's the advantage? Why would you make the decision if it were up to you? If you were pitching this to somebody else, what did you factor in? What did you look at? What did you leave out in the report that you looked at? What did you decide not to even bother looking at it, and why not? So I'm going to ask you these questions, not because I'm questioning you, but basically these are my ways of helping to develop you. And these are questions that may be asked of me if I were pitching the material that you provided. So usually the way I operate, the way I like to develop my people is if the opportunity is there for me to allow them to present, I will allow them to present. I want to create as much visibility for them, but I would have the conversation that I think would occur if we were in the boardroom, in the conference room. I would ask them the questions that I think that would be asked of them. So I would say, Rich, how would you answer the question, what did you look at? What would you say if they said, I don't think you've done enough research? I don't think you went far enough, back far enough, or you didn't slice it in a way. How would you answer those questions? So again, the goal here is to make sure that you are properly prepared and that I'm working to the best of my abilities to help grow you, help develop you, help make you as successful as you can be. Then we have level 4 delegation. Level 4 delegation is basically go ahead, make a decision, and let me know what that decision is. Because the last thing that I want is my boss or my boss's boss calling me and saying, what the bleep happened over here? Who made that decision? Who authorized them to make that decision? So level 4 delegation does not mean that I won't get that phone call. It just means that you won't get that phone call from me with the same series of questions. I'll probably call you up and just say, remember that item that you did? My boss called me up and this is what happened and I talked about it. So they may still ultimately disagree, but that's on me. It's my responsibility. I'm accountable. I'm going to own it. And if it's something that I can learn from the experience, I'll learn and I'll share the lesson with you. But usually in those situations, they feel better saying, okay, now I understand. So that's a good way of making sure that I'm providing some air coverage for you and that I'm not surprised, my boss is not surprised, and my boss's boss is not surprised either. And then you have level 5 delegation, which basically means that we have a proven track record together. I trust you. I support your decision. I know that whenever you make a decision that you've weighed things carefully, you've done your due diligence, and that more likely than not, I would have made the exact same decision looking at the same information under the same circumstances. And so those are the 5 different levels of delegation. Again, I think this is a really good tool. You don't have to use it each and every single time, but the way you use it, you sit with your people in advance, you discuss it with them, everybody gets a chance to look at them. Sometimes when you send them the assignment, you may include this in your email saying, hey, you have level 3, you have level 4, you have level 5. Doesn't mean that it replaces all forms of communication, but it does help and enhance your communication when it comes to delegating. So this is Rich Arriaga. You can email me at richarriaga.com if you have any additional questions regarding this particular video. Have a great day.